More often than not, we're seeing a growing number of flight attendants forced to act as in-flight security guards because unruly passengers express their dismay over mask mandates and other frustrations.
As we work through the peak of this busy spring break travel season, our Vanessa Ariza is looking at how the federal government is handling penalties, how COVID has impacted human behavior, and what one victim here in the Bay Area wants people to take away from his experience.
Time and time again, we've seen it play out on flights across the country, from punches to people even being taped to their seat. Unruly passengers on airlines in the age of COVID seems to be as common as the word unprecedented.
As soon as we get in later, you're going to jail.
Russell Miller of Seminole found out firsthand.
She punched me in the face, she spit in my face, and she scratched my cheek with a fingernail.
That's Patricia Cornwall in the video, seen punching him on a flight from Tampa to Atlanta last December. The two got into an altercation after Miller told her to sit down so the flight attendant could finish beverage service.
I was surprised at how far it went. I thought maybe me interjecting myself would convince her to go to the back of the plane, and she absolutely refused.
Afterwards, Cornwall was arrested and charged with assault. In a phone conversation, she said she was very remorseful, but her attorney advised her not to make any further comments as the case remains open.
COVID has changed people. They're not the same as they are. Their patience is much less.
And the numbers prove it. Since the start of the pandemic, the Department of Justice has federally charged 46 people for interfering with flight crews. And while COVID cases may be declining, you could say people's tempers are not. Last year, the Federal Aviation Administration reported approximately 6,000 unruly passenger cases. More than 4,200 of those were a result of face masks. And this year isn't looking any better. As of last week, the FAA has reported close to 1,000 unruly passengers, and we still have 9 months to go in the year.
The FAA is strictly enforcing a zero-tolerance policy toward passengers who cause disturbances on flights.
In July, FAA Administrator Steve Dixon addressed the public saying, if you don't abide by the rules, you will be fined heavily. And they're not kidding. The highest fine they proposed against a passenger was $52,500. Last year, they proposed $5 million in fines against unruly passengers. So the question is, were these increased numbers a big result of the mask mandates and the pandemic? Well, that's what one study is searching to find out. The International Journal of Mental Health Nursing is looking at the behavioral and psychological toll these past 2 years have taken on all of us.
Have you flown since then?
On the back, yes.
Right. Are you a little apprehensive, or do you have a little extra guard up?
No.
As for Miller, he's not letting this incident stop him from flying, but he does want it to serve as a reminder for all who take to the skies.
Check yourself. We're all putting up with exactly the same situations.
The TSA has extended the mandatory face mask until April 18th. However, just last week, in a letter to the White House, the organization Airlines for America requested that mask mandate be lifted, given the number of COVID-19 cases continues to decline. In Tampa, I'm Vanessa Ariza.
Thank you. And we've been, of course, throwing a lot of numbers at you. So here's a visual representation to the unruly passenger data right here. This graph released by the FAA shows the unruly passenger rate from January of 2021 through March of this year. And according to this data, unruly passenger incidents peaked in February of 2021 and have been declining ever since. But again, as Vanessa mentioned, there have been 621 reports of unruly passengers this year alone. 635 incidents have been related to masks, which is 66%. Meanwhile, the FAA has a whole section about unruly passengers on its website, and it explains how it violates federal law and just how high the fines can go. And this is something we've been reporting on since the start of this pandemic, and you can find all of those articles right here by searching Unruly on our website, abcactionnews.com.